Hey guys, this is Waifu Wars, and it's a video. Yeah, I've been gone for quite a while, and I feel like I owe you guys to make this type of video. It's not going to be a long video, but I feel like it is very important to address this. It's just me today because I think the videos where it's just myself feel like I really can speak my mind on like how the state of this my channel is. Some people might be confused with what my channel uh, is and how it's associated, apparently, for some of the Weiss community. But anyways, I'll just get right into it. Um, what Waifu Wars is a channel originally started with myself and two of my other friends who were in my locals, and we just discussed what we think of new releases regarding English and JP, and then what our thoughts of how it's affecting our locals. But as like time progressed, our channel started slowly developing, and then I wanted to expand out my uh, intent for this channel of being able to get different perspectives and different ideas. So I branched out to other YouTubers, and we've grown to be like a small happy family. And I appreciate everyone that's been involved so far with Waifu Wars. Uh, with that being said, also, this channel isn't going to die. Like, I still plan on making videos. Um, but like I said, I would just want to like do like basically an update to this channel, especially for you guys who are subscribed, because I feel bad like not releasing any content, and it makes I feel like you guys are like wasting a like subscription slot, even though there's no like subscription limit I think for YouTube. But anyways, uh, Weiss in my life update. Right now for me personally, I live in Florida, and like the location I'm in for Weiss is uh, not as ideal as I'd like to be. When I first started Weiss, it was a small group of my friends and I. Like one of my friends introduced me to Weiss, and then we all started like getting into the game, and it was just like a small group, and then like we started having like weekly tournaments, and like more people like started like within our locals like started being interested in the game. They like picked up some cards, and like we had more our other personal friends join, and then we got big to the point where big to me for my locals at one point was we had 16 people for like a tournament, and then the usual was like an average 10, like 10-ish week for like the weekly events. But like for big tourneys that we had, like for new sets or whatever, it was like 16, and it had like great, amazing like prize support, and everyone was having fun. But then life obligations began for like lot of the people that did play Weiss, and that's understandable. Um, Not everyone can like invest their time into like a game, and like they have like their own responsibilities of like uh, living and like trying to make themselves better, which is totally understandable. But currently, um, Weiss in my area is very. I think it's very depressing, just because um, right now we need for my tournament, for my locals, we need 6 people to fire, and so basically, and we only have 6 people that are like consistent. So basically, if one person can't make it, uh, that pretty much means we can't fire. I mean, we can still do casuals as well, but it's gotten to the point where like if like one person can't show up, then like some people don't feel like they want to do I mean, they don't want to do casuals, and they don't want to like show up, which is understandable, especially when like some of the players they have to drive like an hour to get to my locals just to play Weiss. So I can understand how that can be frustrating as well. Um, I do love this game. If you guys didn't know, I've got my invite from Spring Regional, so I am going to compete for English Worlds in January in Japan, which is honestly one of the best things that I could ever like achieve in my life because I've always wanted to go to Japan, and I really have like this passion for this game. Like compared to other card games that I've played, I feel like I've invested the most into this game. Like not only financial wise, but like also like time wise. Um, but yeah, I still try to play Weiss as much as I can because I want to like practice and sharpen my skills to be like always to be a better player and just like to keep up with like how this game is going. Because I notice when people like start to lose time in a game, they also lose interest. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much my personal life update. I'm trying my best to like get people to join to play the game at my locals, but it's also hard because some people are just like not into like the concept of like anime. Like the way my area is set out to be is that it's mostly Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic. So when they think of Weiss, all of them think of like oh like bouncing anime titties or cute like shit. Like it's not. It doesn't really interest them. So and there are some people who like collect Weiss cards, but they like, just don't have the drive to play it competitively, which is understandable as well. Like people are entitled to do whatever they want. Um, but it is fun though. Like I like this game to the point where like when we do like Confire like tournaments or even if we just have casuals and meet up with my like, friends, like we get dinner afterwards. Like that makes me happy enough like to be able to be playing Weiss with friends. But anyways, I feel like that's enough gloomy stuff. We're going to my personal thoughts on how the current state of English meta is for Weiss. Um, I think it's pretty defined what the top decks in English are right now. Those two being SAO and AOT. The reason why I think they're the top two right now is that their level 1 plussing combos don't require any sort of interaction with your opponent. Um, Besides, I think actually, never mind. I think the level 1 Aaron has to reverse, and but it gets a pretty decent amount of size. Like it's respectable, and it can go over things, especially with if you have assists as well for the deck. Whereas Yuki, obviously, you don't need interaction with your opponent. You just pay one and then like do your pay one, ditch one, and you do your compression by taking out 2 cards from your deck. And the reason why I don't put Tularu as like the top two decks right now is that it is a strong deck. Like it has amazing, like it has pretty good consistency, and like the end game is strong to the point where it can either close out a game or you can like do it multiple times, which will help you close out the game, and then it can sustain at level 3, whereas some other decks can't sustain as easily. But the problem with Tularu is that you actually need to get reverses off um, to actually maintain a advantage towards winning the game. Like if you don't get your level 1 Mekon combos off, it does feel pretty bad. And even if you do get one reverse search off, I feel like that's pretty expected. But obviously you want to try to get multiples off. Um, but anyways, AOT it just has a lot of favorable matchups. I feel like it's very strong against Tularu. If you can get the Aaron combo off first, then you deny a Mekon search from your opponent. And then overall, uh, the board game, like maintaining board as well, like just being able to like get reverses off, like AOTA doesn't have a problem with getting off reverses. And with their card pool now, with the release of AOT 2, um, I feel like the cards are to the point where I feel like there is a defined uh, meta list, but it's good to the point where also like you will see other builds and like they're strong enough on their own, like they're respectable, where like they shouldn't be underestimated compared to like other sets where they have other builds, but obviously they're not as strong as like the what you expect in like the ideal meta build, if you get what I'm saying. Like for example, Titans. Uh, Before it was considered as a meme deck, but now it's not quite as memey because they have like modern modern finishers and a more utility wise with their card pool. SAO, it's ideally like the safest set in Weiss, as in it hasn't been touched in JP meta, and it's also inevitably going to get more support because, for example, I think they announced the Alice arc for SAO for to be in anime form, and then that will probably get a set. And SAO just has like a huge card pool to work with, and Ordinal Skill came out in JP, so we're gonna, and it's already coming out in English in December. So I feel like those two decks will remain like the strong decks right now. If Tularu 2 comes out for English, it does help out the deck a little bit, but I feel like it. If you compare, like, if you just look at the JP meta right now, like, even people playing Tularu and JP, like, it's still not as much as you'd expect, even though Tularu being like a pretty strong set. Um, but yeah, but with the future releases of English, we have this month for November, we have Excel World Infinite Burst, I think, or something like that. Um, that's gonna help the current state of Excel World because we only have set one right now. But I honestly don't think it's gonna be like on par with like AOT2 and SAO. Like, I might see. My prediction is that I might see like a couple, like top 8 places, or like maybe like top 3. Um, I just don't know if the Accelerate engine is gonna be like safe enough, I guess, for English meta. Um, with December, obviously we have SAO Ordinal Scale. That's obviously going to add new deck building ideas for people. You have good things like the Sugaha back row. Uh, that's pretty much an Amagi clone, and it like also beefs up your act ability, so your brainstorms are your backups. And then you also have this new engine that people are trying to experiment, which is the link attack, which is pretty interesting. And then it also really, obviously, it gets its anti-damage counter, the money counter. So it'll just be like Tularu, where like it can sustain end game at level 3 if it can't finish off the opponent. Um, I think going into next year, I don't think we have anything announced for January, but we do have for February, which is P5. Unfortunately, I wish P5 came out this year because I was hoping to play it in Worlds, and I'm excited to see what P5 will do in English because at that point it'll be the start of spring circuit for 2018. Um, I feel like it it might be on the same par of Excel World by the time it's released. Uh, just because like people will like try to like play out the JP builds and stuff like that, and they won't realize how um, kind of different English and JP are. But that's pretty much my thoughts on the English meta. Like, just to just sum it up, there there's a clear indicator of two strong decks right now. SAL with being its card pool, and its also just being able the representation of SAL is like kind of ridiculous. And AOT also, it's up to date and it's pretty like stupidly strong. And then I would agree that Tulu is in third place. Uh, it's just interesting to see how at the start of like where it was just like Tularu, like Kontai still posed as a threat, but you don't see as much Kontai as there is now compared to like SAO or like AOT. Like Kontai is not like this boogeyman that like people were afraid of. And even then, like when people were afraid of, I felt like it still wasn't the set to like people were like hyping up about to be like for the Englishman. I mean, we do have like uh an unlimited. We don't have restriction on like Akagi, Hibiki, and Hatsukaze, but um, I just feel like Kantai in English, uh, it can't really sustain anything like the progression of playing through Weiss doesn't seem to be like valuable compared to like other sets like AOT, SAO, Tularu, and like people like in English, people are just getting like smarter to be able to like play around like anti-heal or like anti-salvage. So yeah, that's my conclusion thoughts on the English meta. Current thoughts on JP meta. In JP meta, there's a lot of non-interaction with and compression basically. So right now, the meta decks don't care about don't care about like the opponent's board state at level 1 in the sense where like, for example, one of the top decks in JP meta is ReZero. Uh, Amelia doesn't have the level 1 Amelia doesn't have to reverse to get its advantage off, and then being able to mill helps the deck itself being able to compress because then you can early drop your Rems, or if you're running yellow, you can also um, set up your you can there's a way to get out the felt level 3 at level 2, and both of those early drops help the ReZero player being to start off like a good compression that will end up like snowballing to their advantage. And like personally, I like blue red, but I've seen like blue yellow play at like one of the other locals that I go to that's 2 hours away, and once it like begins to snowball, then it's pretty hard to come back from that. Like if you're playing against ReZero. But basically with the Amelia level 1 combo, it also just gets enough power where it's also considerably huge, and being able to reverse lanes is obviously good. And then another top deck in JP right now is Guardians in Rewrite. The level 1 combo is Shizuru, and it's a stock charge engine where you pick a Lucia or Shizuru name from your wing and put it into your stock, and that doesn't need to reverse, but then it builds up power as well. Um, if you like have 5 or more stock, you get 6k power, and 6k might seem like minuscule if like you don't know what Rewrite Guardians does, but they have like a very stupid uh, plussing engine also in being their clock bond level 0. Grabbing this 1-0 gloves event, which is pretty much will make your characters get big when you back it up. It gets 500 for each stock, so it's at minimum. Most of the time, minimum it's a 3k backup. 1-0 costless. That's bondable, clock bondable, and then that level 0 can also hand fix with clock cycling. So what you do is you can like ditch the 1-0 gloves event to hand fix, and then from your clock, and then replace it. And obviously you can clock yourself to get the gloves back. So that's pretty absurd. And then the end game being your level 3 Shizuru, you have so much stock to work with, so you can do multiple burn 2, and being able to scry on your turn or your opponent's apply so much pressure to your opponent, and it gives you an advantage where you'll be able to last longer than your opponent. And then there's other decks like Milky Homes, where you don't need to reverse. It's just like Shizuru, it's on attack, stock charge, and you just go through your deck so fast, and you want to get rid of your first deck, so your refresh deck will be so much better. And the more you, obviously, like the more you cancel, then the more you'll be able to last longer through the game. And that's what compression is so good right now in Weiss, is that if you get to the point where your opponent has to expend resources by either like crashing their characters into you, or like just not having anything to play with in general, like, but you have like, compared to you, you have like a lot of stock where you can like easily, if you decide, you can just like hard encore by paying 3 stock, or just like not being worried about hand size, and being able to play your level 3s and like get like their abilities off because you have like so much stock to work with. That's pretty much how JP meta is, I think. With the addition of Kimono Friends, I played Kimono Friends for like a decent amount of time. The level 0 Kaban is pretty much the drive to playing the set, and it is a it's very easy for it to go into memory, and then it replaces itself by getting any friend's character. And while it's in memory, both your opponent and you cannot do burn 1 or less damage. So it shuts off strong, scary decks like Puyo, Tularu, and Gochi Yusa with their engines, with their with their whole level 3 game, and like it just makes their level 3s into blanks. The only exception, I guess, is with Yami, because she is hexproof, and you aren't able to use your rest counter on like Yami. But Kimono Friends is, for the most part, it didn't. But with the results of WGP in the US and like other places, there isn't much kimono toppings as people would expect, and I still think it is a strong set because there are so many builds that, to consider. There's the Owls build, there's the Penguins build, and then there's a coin flip build. I don't think it's a set to be underestimated. And the people that are going to like Nats, I have some friends that are going to Nats, and I think it's definitely something worth noting if you're going to be playing against, because I feel like people like don't give it as much credit as it deserves. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up my JP meta thoughts. I guess to end this video, because I don't want it to be too long, and I already feel it's long enough. Future plans for this channel. What I really enjoy making videos on, like, I love podcasts and like getting like people in, and like hearing their thoughts, but I also love trying to help out the community by like making videos like the history of Weiss, like when I was explaining like what the Ricky effect is, or like the Azusa effect. Like, I really enjoyed making that video because I feel like I am benefiting like for not only like the current players of Weiss, but like new people. Like, they can just like have some type of resource to go to. I noticed for the Weiss community content, like we have all these like deck profiles and like discussions and like sets and stuff like that, which is nice, but like I feel like we need more like outlets for like as a guide for like people to like just know what things do. And there is content of that, but I feel like there needs to be more. So I want to do more like history of Weiss videos as well. Like I want to do one on like what is a runner and like the different types of runners. Like to us, like to people to like experienced players, like we obviously know what like a free runner or a mill runner is. But like with these lingo, like new players aren't gonna understand like why these cards are so good, like why you should be running four of like a runner, or like what makes what makes a level 3 game so good, like what defines a level 3. And like there needs to be more videos on just helping out new people and like making them like become better players. And like I it is like a like process, and it does take time, and like I wish I had like the time and like more production value to do it. But when I like make those type of videos, it's just a one-man army. Like it's literally just me. So if I could get like more people in on it, just to like collaborate and like expand on ideas, and that'd be like super. Uh, I want to do more like Weiss match videos. But like I said, it just depends on my locals. Like if we can meet up and like if we consistently like can make videos, because I liked doing those as well, and like being able to like commentate, and like it'll help the people in my locals with like seeing what they could have done, and like giving just like different thoughts on like how they could have like changed or like to make them like win or whatever. But then it also helps me because like I I like to see like different players and their mindsets, and like learn about like sets that I don't have. And I also want to do like guide videos. Like I've always wanted to do a guide video on like UUT. Like some people, I know some people like want to play JP, but they can't because they don't know how to access their cards. Or some people, they want to use UUT. Like they go like they go buy UUT prices when they want to buy JP cards, but they don't actually know how to use UUT, and then they're forced to use like other outlets like TCG Republic, which is a bit pricier, where they have to like use Facebook groups to like look out for cards that they need, but then like people might not have those cards. So I want to make like a UUT guide, just being able to like how to register with UUT and Tenzo and setting up, and like a basic like uh, formula and like how to navigate through the UUT page with like Google Chrome, and like how to translate stuff, and just like what to expect like with your first order. That's something I would like to do for the community. And I think I want to try to make something else that like kind of like puts me out there, that's like different from other Weiss content. Because like I do still want like my channel to like grow, and like I want it to have like a certain niche that makes me stand out. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say so far. To wrap things up, I will be making more videos, and I think at one point I may do another giveaway. But yep, I just want to say thank you guys for always supporting me and like watching my videos and like giving like likes or whatever, comments. Like I read like all your comments and try to reply to them. And like I look forward to making more videos for you guys, and seeing what Weiss is going to turn out for me in the future. So, yep, bye!